I was out of exits, out of allies, and very nearly out of oxygen. The corridor ahead split into three identical passages, each pulsing with warning lights that suggested imminent lockdown or festive decoration. Given my luck, it was both. Behind me, the station's security drones skimmed around the curve of the hall, their lenses glowing a polite shade of red, the color, I had learned, of please surrender immediately. I would, I muttered, sprinting, but I'm busy. A stun bolt scorched the wall beside my head. The smell of ionized metal followed me like a bad decision. I skidded into the left corridor at random. My boots slipped on the polished alloy floor. Somewhere above, an automated voice calmly informed all residents that a Level 2 fugitive was at large and cooperation would be rewarded. Level 2. That stung. I'd worked hard for at least a 3. I ducked into a maintenance hatch and sealed it just as two drones swept past. In the narrow shaft, the air was warm and metallic. My pulse hammered in my ears. I checked my wrist console. No signal. No allies. No miraculous last-minute extraction. I am officially, I whispered to myself, the most predictable idiot in 3 systems. The hatch above me opened without warning. I froze. A figure dropped lightly into the shaft, landing without a sound. For a heartbeat, I thought my oxygen deprivation had begun producing hallucinations. An elegant silhouette against the dim light, a blade's faint curve at her hip. She straightened. She looked human, almost. Her face held the symmetry of a sculpture, calm and alert. Dark hair was braided close to her head, practical and severe. And then there were her ears, long, graceful, tapering to fine points that angled slightly outward. They twitched once, subtly, as if tasting the vibrations in the metal walls. She regarded me the way one might regard a mildly interesting insect. "You are being hunted inefficiently," she said. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me today. Another stun blast shook the shaft. She glanced upward. "You chose a poor corridor. I chose it at random." "Yes, that is what I said." The drones cut through the hatch above, metal screaming. She moved before I could form a better apology. Her blade came free in a single fluid motion, humming with a faint blue edge. One drone fell in 2 precise pieces. The second emitted a startled chirp before she twisted and drove the blade through its central lens. It sparked, trembled, and died. Silence returned. I blinked at her. "Do you offer lessons?" "No, pity." She wiped the blade clean with a strip of fabric from her sleeve, movements economical, unhurried. "You are the human-carrying restricted xenotech. That depends entirely on who's asking." "I am?" "Then yes." Her long ears angled slightly toward me as if measuring the cadence of my voice. "You are seconds from capture. I had noticed. I can prevent this." Hope flared, suspicious and bright. "For a price." She considered the word as though testing its structural integrity. "I will save you." "That sounds promising. You will not enjoy the consequences." "I don't enjoy the present." A faint shift in her expression, almost amusement. "Except, I don't think I'm in a position to negotiate." "You are not." More drones converged above, cutting through layers of alloy like determined termites. I looked at her. She did not look uncertain. She looked like someone who had already decided. "Fine," I said. "Save me." She stepped closer. Up close, I noticed faint lines of bioluminescent script tracing the skin just behind her ears, disappearing into her hair. Not decoration. Data, perhaps, or rank. She placed her palm briefly against the center of my chest. Her hand was warm. She spoke in a language I did not know. The words resonated through the shaft, low and precise. My wrist console flickered to life despite having no signal. Symbols streamed across its surface in a script I had never seen. A pulse of energy passed through me, not painful, not pleasant. Binding. "Was that necessary?" I asked weakly. "Yes, what did you just do?" I invoked continuance. "That sounds medical." "It is not." The drones broke through. She grabbed my arm and pulled me upward through a side panel I hadn't noticed. We burst into a service corridor and ran. She moved with effortless precision, navigating twists and sealed doors without hesitation. Twice, she pressed her palm to locked interfaces and they yielded instantly. "Do you hack everything you touch?" I asked between breaths. "I outrank this station. That must be convenient." "It is." We emerged into a docking bay half-lit and mostly abandoned. Her ship waited near the far wall, sleek, angular, its hull shifting subtly as though alive. A ramp extended at her approach. Blaster fire erupted behind us. She turned, blade flashing, deflecting a stun bolt back into its source. A bounty agent collapsed, cursing. I dove up the ramp. "If I survive this," I called, "I'm reconsidering all my hobbies." She followed, sealing the hatch with a sharp gesture. The ship lifted instantly, no rumble, no warning. The docking bay ceiling split open under her authority code. We shot into open space, stars wheeling around us. Inside, the air hummed with controlled power. Surfaces curved seamlessly into one another. The pilot interface responded to her hands like an extension of her nervous system. I sagged into the nearest seat. "You have excellent timing." "I do not rely on timing." "What do you rely on?" "Certainty." That felt ominous. The station shrank behind us, security vessels scrambling too late. I exhaled slowly. "All right, I'm saved, thank you. What's the catch?" She did not look away from the stars ahead. "I have named my price." "You haven't told me." "I have." A chill slid down my spine. "Those words back there." "Yes." My console pulsed again, projecting alien script across the cabin. "I don't suppose there's a cancellation option." "In my culture," she said calmly, her long ears angled forward with quiet finality, "there is no turning back once the words are spoken." I swallowed. "Define consequences." She finally glanced at me. "You now walk beside me," she said, "until I release you. That's manageable." Her gaze held mine. "Or until the bond transforms." I stared at the streaming symbols, then at her blade resting within reach. "And what," I asked carefully, "does it transform into?" She faced forward again, guiding the ship into faster-than-light alignment. "You will learn." The stars stretched into lines and then into something that could not be called stars at all. I gripped the edge of the seat. "Please tell me that's normal." "It is normal," she said. "For this ship." That was not the reassurance I was hoping for. The transition into faster-than-light travel felt less like movement and more like being folded politely into a different version of reality. My stomach attempted to file a complaint. The ship hummed once deeply and then settled into silence. She removed her hands from the interface. "We are no longer traceable," she said. "I appreciate that. I prefer my existence untraceable." She turned her head slightly, long ears angling toward me. I was beginning to realize that those ears were expressive in ways the rest of her face refused to be. "You misunderstand your situation." "I usually do. You are no longer a fugitive." I blinked. "I'm sorry, you are under my continuance." "That sounds worse." "It is different." I leaned back. "All right. Let's define terms before my imagination does something unhelpful. What exactly is continuance?" She stood and walked across the cabin. The ship adjusted lighting as she moved, responding to her presence like an attentive pet. She stopped in front of me. "When one of my people saves a life," she said, "we bind that life to our own path." "Metaphorically." "No, of course not. It is a vow recognized by my species and by the interstellar accords we helped write." My console pulsed again. Alien script rotated slowly. A translation attempt flickered, stuttered, then produced something that made my heart skip. "Strategic life bond," I read aloud. "Mutual trajectory obligation. Irrevocable without formal transformation." I looked up. "You people really don't believe in casual favors, do you? Casual is inefficient. And this transformation part." She regarded me steadily. "Continuance evolves." "That's not an explanation, that's a threat disguised as grammar. It becomes either release or union." The word hung in the air. "Union," I repeated carefully. "As in alliance?" "Yes." "As in partnership?" "Yes." "As in?" "Yes." I pressed my hands over my face. I was trying very hard not to arrive at that conclusion. She tilted her head. Your heart rate has increased. Sharp observation. You fear obligation. I fear surprise lifelong alien marriage contracts, yes. Her ears twitched faintly. It is not marriage. That is not comforting. She stepped back, folding her hands behind her. Union in my culture is a dual command. Two minds bound legally and strategically. It is rare. It requires mutual declaration. Mutual, I repeated. That's the first encouraging word you've used. You will have choice, she said. Good. But not now. Of course not. She moved toward a recessed wall panel. It opened, revealing a series of holographic projections. A star map blossomed into view, constellations marked with symbols that shifted in response to her gaze. My people will know what I have done, she said, because of the glowing ritual speech and cosmic paperwork. Yes, efficient. There will be political reaction. Ah. I was wondering when we'd arrive at the part where powerful beings dislike me on principle. She glanced at me. You are accustomed to this. I have a face that inspires authority figures to reconsider their day. A faint pause. Your face is symmetrical. Thank you, it's done nothing for my legal standing. The ship trembled softly. She focused on the star map. We are being scanned. I stiffened. You said we were untraceable. I said we were no longer traceable by the station. That feels like a technicality. It is. The star map highlighted a distant contact, unknown signature. Friendly? I asked. No, of course. She placed her hand against the interface. The ship shifted vector abruptly. My stomach registered a formal protest. Who are they? I asked. Uncertain. That's never good. They are not broadcasting identification. Also not good. She accelerated. The contact adjusted course to intercept. You have enemies? I asked. I have rivals. That's a yes. Energy flared outside the ship. A warning tone pulsed. They are testing our shields, she said. Testing, that's polite. Her long ears angled forward sharply, the first clear sign of tension I'd seen. She began issuing commands in her own language. The ship responded instantly, diverting power, altering trajectory and angles that should have been illegal under several physics conventions. Another flare, the hull vibrated. Can we outrun them? I asked. Yes. That hesitation was unnecessary. I did not hesitate. You blinked. That was recalibration. The contact drew closer. I stared at the tactical projection. Do you need assistance? You are untrained. Correct, but I am creative. That is not reassuring. It has kept me alive. She considered this. Very well, she said. Divert auxiliary power from non-essential systems. Which are? She glanced around. The ambient lighting dimmed. I like those lights. They are non-essential. Rude. I tapped at the console, guessing more than understanding. If I accidentally eject us into open space, I apologize in advance. You will not. That confidence is flattering. The ship surged forward, engines flaring brighter than before. The pursuing vessel struggled to match the sudden acceleration. There, she said quietly. The contact fell behind, its signal fading. Silence returned, heavy and electric. I exhaled. You handle pressure well. It is expected. You didn't even look worried. My ears were forward. I have no reference for that. That is why I inform you. I laughed, breathless. You're terrifying. So I am told. The star map cleared. She deactivated the projection and faced me fully. You see now, she said, that walking beside me is not without risk. I noticed the attempted vaporization. You may still regret accepting my intervention. I didn't accept, I reminded her. You declared. A pause, yes. I stood slowly, legs still adjusting to the absence of pursuit. All right. Let's address the larger existential issue. You bound me to your path. Your path includes political rivals and unidentified ships with weapons. What exactly are you? She met my gaze without flinching. I am of the high lineage of Ethari. That sounds important. It is. And you decided your strategic life bond should be me? Yes. On what possible basis? She stepped closer again, studying me with unsettling focus. "You did not beg," she said. "You did not offer lies, you accepted consequence. I was cornered. You were honest." I opened my mouth to argue, then stopped. "That's your reasoning?" I asked. It was sufficient. I let out a slow breath. "You realize this is the worst recruitment speech in galactic history." Her ears lifted slightly. "Yet," she said, "you remain." I glanced at the streaming alien script still circling my console. "Apparently," I muttered, "I do." "We are approaching Ethari Prime," she said. "That sounds like a place where I will be judged extensively." "You will." "Good. I was worried I might get a day off." The ship shifted out of faster-than-light travel with a soft shudder. My console flooded with signals, structured, layered, official, traffic control queries, military authentication checks, diplomatic channels opening like cautious eyes. Her hands moved over the interface. "They are aware of my return." "And of me?" "Yes." "Fantastic. They are attentive." "That's a polite word for outraged, isn't it?" She did not answer. That was answer enough. The main viewport adjusted automatically. Ethari Prime filled the projection grid. Orbital structures circled the planet in perfect geometric arcs. Massive ringed platforms glowed with controlled energy fields. Traffic moved in silent, coordinated patterns. No chaos, no improvisation. "Your people like symmetry," I said. "Symmetry is efficient. Humans prefer personality. I have observed." Our ship received landing coordinates, not a docking bay, a central platform. "That looks official," I said. "It is." "You're not sneaking me in through a cargo hatch." "No, bold strategy. I do not hide my decisions, even the questionable ones." Her ears angled slightly toward me. "Especially those." The ship descended through layers of controlled atmosphere, guided by automated corridors of light. As we approached the platform, I counted at least 6 defensive arrays tracking us. "Are those weapons locked on us?" I asked. "Yes." "Comforting. They will not fire." That confidence again. "I outrank the commanders who control them." "I need that on a shirt." We touched down without a tremor. Before the ramp lowered, she turned to me. "You will remain at my side." "That seems to be the theme." "You will not speak unless addressed." I nodded. "I can manage that." She held my gaze for a long second. "You will try," she corrected. "That feels less achievable." The ramp extended. They were waiting. A line of figures stood at precise intervals across the platform. They looked, at first glance, like variations of her. Tall, composed, long ears marking subtle differences in angle and length. Some wore ceremonial armor that shimmered faintly. Others wore robes threaded with luminous patterns. All of them were staring at me. "This is fine," I muttered. She stepped forward. I followed half a pace behind. One of the elders, older only in the way her posture carried greater gravity, spoke first. "You return with continuance declared," the elder said. "I do," my savior replied. "And you bind it to an off-world human." "I do." The elder's gaze shifted to me. I resisted the urge to wave. "You are aware of precedent?" the elder asked her. "I am aware of stagnation," she answered. There was a ripple through the assembled line, not movement, not sound. Just a subtle shift of ears. The elder addressed me. "Human." "Yes," I said before remembering the instruction. My savior's ear flicked toward me sharply. "Apologies," I added quickly. "Reflex." "You understand the vow invoked?" the elder asked. "I understand that I was saved," I said carefully, "and that apparently my future now involves more public speaking than I anticipated." A few ears twitched. I wasn't sure if that was scandal or suppressed laughter. "You do not seem afraid," the elder observed. "Oh, I am," I replied. "I just prefer to multitask." Silence. Then, unexpectedly, a faint exhale from somewhere in the line. My savior did not look at me, but I felt the slightest shift in her stance, as if bracing for impact that did not come. "You will attend formal review," the elder said at last. "Continuance must be examined." "I expected as much," my savior said. We were escorted inward. The central hall was vast, though no one announced it. The architecture carried its own authority. Lines curved upward into a ceiling that I intend continuance without coercion, she replied. Human, the elder said, turning to me, do you claim yourself unwilling? Every eye in the hall fixed on me. My throat felt dry. I was running, I said slowly. I was outmatched, she intervened. I did not understand the full implication. That part is true. A faint stir moved through the assembly. But, I continued, she did not deceive me, she did not threaten me. She did not demand anything I did not witness firsthand. My savior's ears angled forward slightly. I am confused, I admitted. Deeply, frequently, but unwilling, no. Silence settled. The elder regarded us both. Continuance acknowledged, the elder said at last. Formal review proceeds. The barrier dissolved. As we stepped down from the platform, I exhaled shakily. That went well, I asked. It did not go poorly. I'll take it. She studied me briefly. You improvised, she said. It's a talent. It is destabilizing. That's the goal. For the first time since landing, the corner of her mouth shifted. Not quite a smile, but close enough to count. You may yet survive this, she said. That's the most romantic thing anyone said to me, I replied. They are not satisfied, she said. I gathered that from the synchronized ear tilting. That was not synchronized. It looked choreographed. We stood alone in a private strategy chamber assigned to her lineage. The walls hummed faintly with embedded processors. Tactical projections floated in slow rotation, trade routes, political alliances, rival clan insignias marked in restrained red. You have rivals who dislike reform, I said. Yes. You have elders who dislike me. Yes. And you have invoked an ancient bond tying your political future to a former smuggler. Yes. I nodded slowly. When you list it like that, it sounds bold. It is necessary. Necessary for what? For change. She expanded one of the projections. A network of star systems highlighted in pale blue. My people have maintained isolation protocols for centuries, she said. Controlled trade, limited cultural exchange, predictable alliances. And you want unpredictability. I want adaptation. That sounds less marketable. It is accurate. A symbol pulsed red along one trade route. That clan, she continued, opposes expansion. They benefit from stagnation. Let me guess, I said. They're also the ones who tried to scan us out of existence in transit. Her ears angled slightly toward me. Likely. Likely is doing a lot of work there. A tone chimed. An incoming secure transmission request. She accepted it. A figure appeared in holographic projection, taller than her, ears longer, posture rigid. His gaze fixed first on her, then shifted to me with undisguised assessment. You return with spectacle, he said. I return with intent, she replied evenly. You bind yourself to an outsider and call it intent. I call it evolution. His eyes narrowed slightly. You gamble lineage stability on a human. I raised a hand slightly. In fairness, I also gamble. He ignored me. Continuance with an off-worlder destabilizes precedent, he continued. Precedent requires challenge, she said. It requires discipline. It requires relevance. A pause, you presume much, he said. I prepare, she answered. His gaze flicked toward me again. Human. Yes, you comprehend the weight of what she risks. I'm starting to. Then withdraw. Direct, efficient, almost refreshing. I appreciate the clarity, I said, but she saved my life. I don't intend to repay that by running at the first sign of politics. This is not politics, he said. This is structural power. Where I'm from, I replied, that's politics with better posture. Her ear twitched sharply toward me. The projected figure's expression did not change, but something in his stillness tightened. You mistake levity for strength, he said. No, I said. I use levity to survive strength. Silence, you will be tested, he said at last. Both of you. The transmission ended. I exhaled. He seems pleasant. He is efficient, she said. Is that your species' version of charming? It is respected. I paced once across the chamber, glancing at the shifting projections. All right. Let's assume I don't withdraw. What does testing look like? Formal challenge. With blades. Possibly. With speeches. Certainly. With assassination attempts disguised as accidents. She did not answer. That's a yes. A new alert flashed across the projection grid. Speak of the void, I muttered. She expanded the alert. One of her outer trade platforms had gone dark, communications severed, energy signatures spiking irregularly. That is not routine, she said. I assume not. It is within territory influenced by the opposing clan. Coincidence? No. She moved toward the exit. Where are we going? I asked, to respond. With how many ships? One. Yours? Yes. I stopped walking. You are aware that every time we travel, someone tries to disintegrate us. Yes. And you consider this acceptable odds? Yes. Your risk tolerance is alarming. It is calculated. That does not make it comforting. She paused, looking at me fully. You may remain, she said. You are not obligated to combat. I met her gaze. You didn't bind me for comfort. No, and I didn't stay for safety. A fractional shift in her posture. Then come, she said. We were airborne within minutes. Her ship responded instantly, lifting from the platform under military clearance codes that overrode routine traffic. As we cleared orbit, defensive satellites tracked us again. Do they ever relax? I asked. Relaxation invites weakness. Humans relax constantly. I have observed. The darkened trade platform came into view on the tactical display. Scattered debris. Energy spikes inconsistent with standard reactor failure. That looks deliberate, I said. It is. Multiple small craft detached from behind the platform's shadow. Ambush, I sighed. Predictable. She engaged evasive patterns immediately. The ship twisted through vectors that defied my sense of direction. Weapons fire streaked past, grazing shields. Shields at 70%, she said calmly. That's lower than I prefer. It is manageable. Define manageable. Above zero. Not helpful. One of the hostile craft broke formation and accelerated directly toward us. Ramming? I asked. No. The hostile vessel emitted a pulse. Our systems flickered. EMP, I guessed. Localized disruption field. Which means impairment. The ship's lighting dimmed briefly. I do not enjoy impairment, I said. Neither do I. She rerouted power manually. I moved to the auxiliary console without being asked. What can I do? I said. Countersignal on frequency band 4. Which one is that? She tapped the interface once. A set of oscillating waves highlighted. That one. I adjusted the modulation, guessing at harmonics. Higher, she said, like this. Higher. The disruption pulse faltered slightly. I knew those smuggling modifications would be useful, I muttered. You modified this console, she asked sharply. Only a little. She glanced at me. Later, I said quickly. Her blade rested beside her seat, though she did not reach for it. She did not need to. One by one, the hostile craft disengaged, unable to maintain the disruption field under our countersignal. They retreat, she said. For now, I replied. Silence returned to the cockpit, shields stabilized, systems realigned. You disobeyed 3 interface protocols, she said without looking at me. Yes. It was effective. I specialize in that. She allowed a small pause. You are disruptive, she said. I prefer adaptable. Her ears lifted slightly. Perhaps, she said, the distinction is narrowing. I leaned back, heart still racing. So this is the test? I asked. No, she said quietly. This is the beginning of it. I laughed once under my breath. Of course it is. They will force resolution, she said. Define force, I replied. Public trial, formal challenge, binding vote. And if we lose? My rank diminishes. Reform stalls. You are released. Released as in free. Yes. Or released as in escorted off-planet under armed supervision. A slight pause. Both. Efficient. The central hall was filled again. More than before. Representatives from allied systems observed through projected feeds. Political gravity pressed in from every direction. You could still step away, she said quietly beside me. You keep offering that. It remains valid. I know. Across the hall, the rival commander stepped forward. His voice carried without amplification. You claim continuance as evolution, he said. Yet evolution requires strength. Demonstrate it. Specify, she replied. Dual competency trial, strategy and will. I leaned toward her. That sounds like two separate disasters. It is traditional, she said. The floor shifted. The circular platform activated, projecting a live tactical simulation into the air above us. Multiple star systems appeared, trade routes destabilizing, hostile fleets emerging from blind vectors. A scenario, the commander said. You will command together. A murmur rippled outward. Together, I whispered. You are bound, she said. They test coherence. The simulation began. Hostile fleets advanced toward key Ethari platforms. Civilian evacuation routes clogged. Energy grids fluctuated. Time limit, I asked. Minimal, she replied. Of course. She moved first, issuing precise commands to redirect defensive arrays. I watched the simulation looking for asymmetry. They're baiting your central fleet, I said. Yes. Don't reinforce it. She glanced at me briefly. Let the outer platforms fall back, I continued. Collapse the perimeter, draw them inward. That risks infrastructure loss. You can rebuild infrastructure. You can't rebuild fleets. A fraction of a second, then she altered course. Outer platforms shifted position, luring hostile ships deeper. Defensive satellites repositioned silently. They will think we miscalculated, she said. Good. The hostile fleet advanced aggressively. Now, I said, trigger the gravity wells. She activated concealed fields embedded along the inner orbit. The hostile formation fractured, ships dragged out of alignment. The hall remained silent. Divide and isolate, she said, her voice steady. We split the enemy fleet into segmented clusters. Precision strikes disabled command vessels. They adapt quickly, she said, then escalate unpredictably. How? I grinned despite myself. Broadcast false surrender protocols on their own frequency. That is dishonorable. It is strategic. Her ears angled sharply forward. Do it. I routed the signal through the simulation grid. Several hostile ships hesitated, receiving contradictory commands. Confusion rippled through their formation. Now finish it, I said. She did. The simulation froze. Hostile forces neutralized. Civilian losses minimized. Fleet integrity preserved. Silence held for a long moment. The rival commander studied the outcome metrics projected above us. Unorthodox, he said. Effective, she replied. He shifted his gaze to me. You introduce deception. Yes. You embrace chaos. I prefer flexible certainty. A faint ripple moved through the hall. Not disapproval, not approval, consideration. The second trial, the commander said, is will. The platform dimmed. No projection, no scenario. State your intent before this assembly, he said. Both of you. She stepped forward first. I invoked continuance without coercion, she said. I accept the weight of reform and the consequences of failure. I do not withdraw. All eyes turned to me. My heart pounded, but not from fear alone. When she saved me, I said, I thought I'd been caught in the worst contract in the galaxy. A faint twitch of ears across the hall. I was running from responsibility, I continued. From debt, from consequence. I survived by staying unattached. I glanced at her. She did not bind me to control me, I said. She bound me because she saw potential in connection. Her posture did not change, but her ears lifted slightly. I don't understand all your traditions, I went on. I probably never will, but I understand choice. I could walk away right now. It would be easier, safer. A breath. I'm not walking. The hall remained still. I choose to remain in continuance, I said clearly. Not because I was saved, because I want to stand beside her. The silence deepened, then shifted. The elder from before rose. Continuance acknowledged as mutual, she declared. Transformation eligible. The rival commander studied us one last time. You accept shared command, he asked her. I do, she said. And you? He asked me. I exhaled slowly. I do. The words felt heavier than any vow spoken in a maintenance shaft. A pulse of energy moved through the platform. My console flared with new script. The binding shifted, no longer unilateral, balanced. She turned toward me fully now. Union recognized, the elder announced. Dual command established. A low resonance filled the hall. Not applause, not noise. Agreement. The rival commander inclined his head slightly. You are disruptive, he said to me. I've been told. He looked at her. You gamble boldly. I calculate carefully, she replied. A pause. Then let evolution proceed, he said. The assembly began to disperse. I let out a long breath I hadn't realized I was holding. So, I said quietly to her, does this mean I outrank the defensive satellites now? No. Worth asking. She studied me for a long moment. You have changed, she said. I have. You no longer seek exit. I considered that. Maybe I was tired of running, I admitted. Maybe I needed someone stubborn enough to trap me into staying. I did not trap you. I smiled slightly. You absolutely did. A faint shift at the corner of her mouth. You are no longer a fugitive, she said. No, I agreed. Now I'm co-commander of a reform movement.